Thursday, April 17th, 2026. For astronauts just flew around the moon and came home alive. Humans have not done that in 53 years. The last time was December 1972. Nixon was president. The Vietnam War was still raging. The internet did not exist. And most of the world barely stopped scrolling. NASA's Artemis II mission splashed down on April 10th off the coast of San Diego, completing a nearly 10-day journey that took 4 human beings 252,756 miles from Earth. That is the farthest any humans have ever traveled. Farther than Apollo 13 in 1970. Farther than any mission since the moon landings ended. Commander Reed Wiseman. Pilot Victor Glover. Mission Specialist Christina Koch, the first woman to travel this far from our planet. And Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen, the first non-American to fly to the moon. For people, one spacecraft named Integrity, and a moment that should have stopped the world. Here is what they actually did up there. They flew to the moon in 3 days. On April 6th, they completed a lunar flyby, coming within 4,067 miles of the surface. They saw the far side of the moon with their naked eyes, something almost no human being in history has ever done. They watched a solar eclipse from deep space, the sun disappearing behind the moon while they floated in zero gravity. They manually piloted the Orion spacecraft, testing systems that will carry future astronauts all the way to the surface. They broke the distance record for human spaceflight, and then they came home. Deutsche Bank analysts called it the most significant test flight since the space shuttle era. NASA called it the start of a new golden age. And yet, the cable news cycle moved on within 48 hours. The answer to why this matters is simple, and larger than most people realize. Artemis II was not a stunt. It was a rehearsal. NASA is targeting 2028 for Artemis IV, the first crewed moon landing since 1972. 2 astronauts will descend to the lunar South Pole, a region that has never been touched by human feet, where scientists believe water ice exists in permanently shadowed craters. Water means fuel. Fuel means a base. A base on the moon means a launch pad for Mars. What Wiseman, Glover, Koch, and Hansen just proved is that the hardware works. The spacecraft held. The life support held. The navigation held. The next crew will not just fly around the moon. They will land on it. But here is the contradiction that history is quietly ignoring. The US-Iran war is still ongoing. Oil is at $95 a barrel. The IMF is forecasting a global recession. Congress is fighting over the defense budget. And the same government that is blockading Iranian ports just spent years and billions of dollars sending people to the moon. NASA's budget for Artemis alone runs into the tens of billions. The Orion spacecraft took over a decade to build. The SLS rocket, the most powerful ever launched, costs an estimated $4 billion per flight. SpaceX and Blue Origin are already competing to build the lander for the next mission. America is simultaneously fighting a war in the Middle East and planning a permanent base on another world. And it is doing both at the same time right now, today. Your gas costs $4 a gallon. Your grocery bill is still inflated. The ceasefire in the Middle East expires in 5 days. But somewhere in a lab at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, 4 astronauts are debriefing scientists about what the moon looks like when you are standing 4,000 miles away from it. They named a crater after Reed Wiseman's late wife. They watched an Earthrise over the lunar horizon. They saw our entire planet, every country, every war, every stock market, as a small blue marble from 250,000 miles away. The next humans to go to the moon will not just orbit it. They will walk on it. Whether the world is paying attention or not will be answered in 2028.